Hi, Rachel. Do you have a second? Your brother and I have something to tell you. Hey, Katie, of course. What is it? Mark and I are having a baby. I'm 3 months pregnant now. What? Oh my gosh! Congratulations! We better throw a baby shower soon, then? Oh, we're fine, thank you. I'm sure we'd be better off planning and celebrating for ourselves than leaving it to you. I'm sorry, what? I didn't reach out to you just to let you know that I was pregnant. I actually had a very important favor to ask of you. Once the baby in my belly is born, I'd like to ask you to never show yourself in front of us again. I need to make sure that our child doesn't grow up seeing you as a role model. Are you serious? So you're suggesting that we stop being family? Yes! I'm never going to get to see the two of you or the baby. Exactly. I'm sorry, it's been very difficult being around a high school graduate lowlife myself. And it's even more out of the question to be forcing my own child to be around one, so I'll be maintaining a good distance with you from now on. Wow, just wow. And before you even ask, yes, Mark 100% agrees with this. You know, I would even go as far as to say that he was the one who came up with the whole idea in the first place, that we should distance ourselves from you since you're a high school graduate. I'm glad that the two of us have felt the same way about this matter. You two have always treated me like this. You know that I wanted to go to college too. I had no choice but to start work because that's what our family needed. The company that your parents were running went out of business, right? I've heard that you were all struggling to get by for a while. Our parents were able to find different jobs after that and worked for years. That's the only reason why Mark was able to go to college, unlike me. Are you still going to make fun of me while knowing all of that? I mean, I do feel bad for you, but then again, a high school graduate is a high school graduate, and that's that. Society won't take into account why your educational background is the way it is. Seriously. Through my educated eyes, you people are all the same. And it hurts my eyes when I have to watch you uneducated people make all of these excuses as to why you were unable to get a proper education. It really brings out your lack of dignity. Why is it that the worse the educational background, the more excuses people have? I would never make an excuse if I was in your shoes. So what you're trying to say is, regardless of what I say, the words that come out of my mouth are still those of a high school graduate, so you don't care. Whatever, I get what you're trying to tell me. If that's what you want, then I won't show myself in front of the two of you ever again after your child is born. I was scared that you wouldn't understand me, so I'm glad you do. I'll be headed then. Goodbye!
Rachel, guess what? I now live in an apartment in the middle of the city inside a skyscraper. I'm officially on top of the world.
Oh, wow, that's great. Did you two decide to move in preparation to welcome the child?
Yeah, I read that the location at which you live significantly affects the child's educational outcome. I mean, you can see that it's true from me and Katie. We both grew up in the city, and now we're both graduates from prestigious universities, and work at mega companies. I'm sure our child is going to turn out as bright as the two of us, so we better make sure their environment doesn't drag them down.
I agree. I think it's important for a parent to prioritize education. I've also read that the location the child grows up greatly affects their drive towards achieving well in school.
Exactly! I mean, it's common sense that if you live with idiots, then you'll become one yourself. And in order to avoid that from happening, Kitty and I are raising our child in the best and brightest environment that we could provide.
That's great. Your apartment must really be amazing.
Yeah, it's the type of place that someone with an educational background like you could only dream of. I've heard rumors of celebrities living there, and apparently, it even houses CEOs and managers from all kinds of big companies. That's why the school that's built nearby is one of the best in the state.
Wow, the rent must really be expensive.
Yeah, the room itself is also really luxurious too. It's pretty spacious and has a great view. Sorry to show off like this, but I'm sure you can live somewhere like this if you can go ahead and graduate from college. It probably isn't too late. In fact, I'll invite you over so you can take a look.
You're inviting me over. I thought you hated people who aren't graduated from a nice college. Why would you invite me to your house?
As you've heard from Katie, you'll never see her or me again once our child is born. So I thought it would be nice to have a chance to say our last goodbye. And also, you'll probably never get the chance again, so I thought it would be a kind act to let you come over. I'll even let you take pictures to hang on your wall once you go home.
You know what? I'd love to go. I'm genuinely curious to see what type of luxurious place you'll be living in, so thank you for inviting me.
Of course! As the French once said, noblesse oblige. Let us nobles be empathetic for the poor. You know, Katie and I's total annual income has just exceeded $200,000. It sounds like a dream even to me. I'll show you a view that you'll never be able to forget.
Hello, Rachel. Thank you for coming over today. I always thought that the poor people never had the time or mental space to be wasting their time. But I guess I was wrong. Thank you for making time for us in your busy schedule. Do you never get bored of making fun of me? And you have something to say to me before anything else, don't you? What the hell was that? Why would you throw coins at me when I was leaving? I mean, you brought some gifts with you as congratulations for moving in, didn't you? Well, I was raised to always give back for anything given. We're never seeing each other again, so I thought it would be a good idea to give back to you right there on the spot. Give back? Do you consider throwing coins at me as giving back to me? Oh my, do you not? I thought that the cheap-looking flowers in the vase that you brought today were worth a few dollars. If I'm giving back something of the same value, then I thought a few coins would fit for that. How could you say that? You know, I've always expected you to be poor, but I never expected you to be this poor. I mean, who brings that kind of obviously cheap thing as a gift for others? Those flowers that you gave me made me sure of my theory. People who aren't educated properly have no choice but to become poor. I'd like to thank you for making me reassure myself that I'll never make my children become like you. I chose my present myself, just for the two of you. I heard that you two were moving into a nice apartment, so I thought some flowers and a nice vase would bring the whole interior together. That vase is an artwork that was made by a famous potter. I won't tell you the price because it's a gift, but it's a very nice gift and you should appreciate it. Whatever. You don't have to try so hard to make yourself seem like something that you're not. Through the educated eyes of my husband and I, we can obviously tell that this vase isn't worth anything more than a few dollars. Did you get it at Dollar Tree? Wait, let me guess. You just made it yourself so you wouldn't have to spend money, didn't you? Seriously. However you got it, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm sorry, but my husband and I have already thrown away the flowers and the vase that you bought today. I see that you chose it yourself. But it just emits some sort of poor, malicious energy that we couldn't take. There was no other choice. I'm sorry. How rude of you. All I wanted to do was congratulate you on beginning a new chapter, and this is what you do in return? I've already gotten used to you making fun of my educational background, but this is just purely heartless of you. I can't take this anymore. Well, then it's great timing, isn't it? We're never going to see each other again, so you can hate us all you want. You'll never have to see us again, and we'll never have to see you either. I mean, I hope so, but I have a feeling that I'm going to have to see you again. What are you talking about? There's no way we're ever wasting another minute talking to you. We're officially strangers now, which means that you'll never be stepping foot in our house either. What a bummer. I'm glad that you at least got to see what a nice house meant for educated and rich people looks like. I'm sorry to break it to you, but I own this building. What? It's true that a lot of people who live here have great educational backgrounds, but it's not like I made that a rule as the owner. I don't care about where you came from as long as you're able to pay the rent. And I don't appreciate how you feel entitled enough to make the rules around here when I literally make them myself. I get that you're mad, but making obvious lies doesn't help your situation, honey. Whether you believe it or not, I own this building, and that's all there is to it. The room that you showed to me, as if you owned the whole world, that room is mine, and you're paying me to live in it. If you don't believe me, come on over to the top floor. You'll see the whole floor is my house. The whole top floor? You two looked so dumb when you were telling me that I'd never live in such a nice place. Every cent that you spend to live here comes to me, for God's sake. Are you kidding? How is that possible? In what world would a high school graduate own a building like this? You're lying to feel better about yourself, aren't you? You can even look at the papers that you signed to finalize the moving in process. You'll see that the room is under my name. Really? I don't care what you want to believe, but if you're going to keep trying to believe that I'm lying, then take a look at it and then bother me. I'll be going then. I'm still furious at the two of you. The coins that you threw at me will be going to donation, by the way.
Rachel, answer the phone right now. How on earth did you end up owning a building like this? This is impossible.
Looks like you finally took a proper look at the papers. How did you not notice anything when you were signing them, for God's sakes?
Even if they had the same name as you, I never thought it would be you. I just thought you had the same name as the owner by coincidence. I mean, who would think that it's their high school graduate sister that owns this place? You're supposed to be a poor lowlife.
Yes, I would be a poor lowlife if I hadn't worked as hard as I did.
What?
No matter how much the two of you would harass me, I stayed focused on my work and brought myself to this position. After paying off our parents' debt, I earned countless certificates to qualify for all kinds of jobs. One of the many jobs that I'd experienced was caretaking. On that job, I ended up working as a caretaker for a wealthy madam who worked alone in her mansion.
At a mansion?
Yes, I got sent there by coincidence at first, but she really liked the way I did things. She ended up scouting me to work for her personally, so I left my company and worked as her personal caretaker.
What kind of fairy tale scenario is that?
I took very good care of her until she passed away years later. In the end, it turned out that she left all of her inheritance under my name.
And you're saying that this building was part of that inheritance?
Yes, this is one of the many buildings and apartments that she left behind for me.
What the hell? All you had to do was take care of some rich old lady for a few years and you got all of that? That's not supposed to happen in real life.
Well, it did, and now I'm the owner of the apartment that you live in. The madam told me that she had to struggle quite a bit when she was younger, and that she was the same as me, a high school graduate. Because of that, her marriage got cancelled and she was harassed at her workplace for years. She said I reminded her of herself.
The old lady never went to college either?
Isn't it amazing? No matter what the odds or what anyone else said to her, she still kept working towards her goals. In the end, she became the queen of real estate in this area. I mean, she was rich enough to hire a personal caretaker, so that says a lot about her wealth. I earned tons and gained a lot of inspiration in the last few years that I was by her side.
But why on earth would you hide that all from me? Not even Mom or Dad know that you have this much wealth, do they?
Of course Mom and Dad know everything about this. They were the first people that I told.
Really?
Yeah, I even suggested that they started living with me, but they said they're going to pass on the offer. That they were glad I was happy and that they want me to live my own life since they took so much away from me when I was young.
Then why didn't you tell me too?
Why did you think that I would even think about telling you? Do you not remember how many times you made fun of me for not having gone to college? I'm not bored enough to deal with you. Anyways, when are you planning to leave your apartment? I hope you're already beginning to pack your things up.
What do you mean? Why would we move out? We just moved here.
You wouldn't want to live in an apartment owned by a high school graduate, would you? I mean, solely judging by the way you and your wife persistently harassed me for years about my educational background, of course. Seems only logical that you move out to avoid paying such a person for living. Or do you plan on continuing to live in my apartment? Because if that's the case, then you probably won't be able to achieve your goal of never letting your baby see me. And besides, your pride as an elite probably couldn't handle the fact that someone below you is literally living on top of you, could you?
I don't believe this. I'm supposed to be the successful one out of the two of us. But even if it's below you, this room is still something that I worked hard to earn. And I paid tons of initial fees. I just can't move out right away. I even invited some friends to come check it out. I can't back out now.
Whatever, I don't care whether you keep living here or move out. As the owner of your room, the only thing I care about is that you pay me your rent. Well then, it's good doing business with you. Hey Rachel, I just have a quick question if you don't mind. Do you think you could give us a discount on the rent as the owner, or could you possibly move us to a higher floor for the same amount of rent? Is that even a real question? No, I won't allow either of those things. Come on, Rachel, aren't we sisters? I'm sure you could work something out for us. Please? How many personalities do you have? Do you think I'm just going to forget about the evil stepsister that harassed me for years? I finally had an epiphany. It's just wrong and stupid to make fun of people for their educational background. You couldn't possibly measure a person's worth with such a superficial trait. I'll apologize for every single thing I've done and said that offended you, so let's start over as besties. Seriously. Yes, aren't you glad to finally have the loving little sister that you always wanted? We should go and have some tea together sometime. I'm pregnant, but I'm still doing well enough to go out on my own. If you're so bored, then why don't you just go get a proper job? I'm sure your college degree would get you a decent job. Maybe you'll finally be able to quit your part-time job. What? I hate to break it to you, but I know everything about you two. As the owner, I have the right to check your annual incomes. You two have been telling me that you're elites who work for mega companies. $200,000 a year. Why the hell would you lie about that? I know that you two only make $60,000 a year combined, and you only have a part-time job. How? Where did you find out? I found out when the two of you tried to move in. I heard that the real estate company declined the two of you because of your annual salaries, and that you two were making excuses that you'd just been fired recently, and that you'd been making $200,000 a year until last year. Mark promised that he would be promoted and would make as much as he used to right away, right? And that you'd get a proper job as soon as you could. How do you know the exact lines of our conversation? You even showed them your student IDs from college, right? Do you really think student IDs from years ago mean anything at all in the real world? How? The real estate agency contacted me right away. And I said you can move in since it's all up to me in the end. All because I cut you some slack as your older sister. Really? But what do you do in return? Try to negotiate prices and pay less. I don't think I've ever met anyone as greedy as you. If you have time to be negotiating prices with me, then why don't you find a job? As you promised, go ahead and show that you're an elite. Of course, that's exactly what I'm planning on doing. It's just that I'm pregnant right now. And I heard that Mark isn't doing too well at his workplace either. Look, I don't care about the reason why you two ended up getting fired from your previous jobs. But you better keep every single promise that you made at the office. If you even make one delayed payment, you're out. Isn't that a bit harsh? I think it's great that you two care enough about your child to move just to give them a good learning environment. But biting off more than you can chew is never a good idea. I heard the preschools around here cost tens of thousands per year, and that's just the beginning. Kids cost more and more as they get older. What? Preschools here cost that much? Did you not look up the living expenses around here before moving in? I mean, we just thought that the living in the city would be enough. Breathing the same air and seeing the same sights as smart people is important in raising a smart child, right? Living in a nice environment won't automatically make your kids smarter. Isn't that common sense? I think the two of you should have a nice, long talk about the future. Compare your income with the living expenses around here and come back to me with an answer. Because things won't always go your way just because you went to a nice university. I found out later on, but the reason that the two of them got fired from their jobs in the first place was simply because they were bad at what they did. They would go around harassing people who didn't go to nice schools like them, but wouldn't do much work either and ended up getting fired. After a conversation, the two properly compared their earnings with their expenses. Told me later that week that they would give up their dream apartment. After that, I heard that they moved into a cheaper apartment. Sometimes I receive texts from Katie asking me to support her child's educational fees, and that they want to make their kids get into the top schools in the nation. But I just send pictures of the view from my apartment in response.
Hey there, Liliana. I'm so sorry to ask, but do you think you could send about $500 to my bank account? I'd really appreciate it. I ended up doing way more shopping than I thought I would last month, so I need just a bit more money than usual.
But I already send you $1,000 a month, Mom. I really don't think I can afford to give you any more. You'll just have to make do with what I gave you this month.
Excuse me, what is the matter with you? Are you really telling your own mother she has to go back to work?
Mom, you're not even that old. You just stopped working well before retirement age. I really think you could still handle even just a part-time job. Please stop always coming to me when you need money.
How dare you talk to your mother that way? You really are so selfish, you know that? I finally free myself of having kids or any other obligations around the house, and you demand that an old lady like me go back to work because you're too lazy to give me some help. You really want me to just work myself to the bone until I drop dead, don't you?
Mom, I'm really happy that you have time to do things that you've been wanting to do. But the fact of the matter is that I have my limits, and I'm already sending you the absolute maximum of money that I can afford. So it's not a matter of wanting to, I simply can't afford to send you $500 more this month.
Oh, come on, you're still young. Surely you have some savings that you could withdraw money from, right? You can always make the money back, but I need that kind of money right now. Come on, don't you realize that you owe me for all I've done for you over the years? I had to raise you all by myself, and I put everything into raising you, and this is how you choose to repay me?
Mom, of course, I'm very grateful for all that you've done for me over the years. I know that Dad died early and you had no one else to help raise me, but you can't talk to me like I'm not already sending you money every month. Not only that, but I've been doing so for the past 7 years. I've been sending you $1,000 every month for the past 7 years. Are you really going to turn around and tell me that I haven't been showing enough gratitude?
Of course not. You really think that's remotely enough money to cover all that I've done for you? If you really cared about me, you would be sending me at least $2,000 a month. But you're always telling me how you can barely even afford to pay me half of that. So why don't you quit whining and just give me the money that I'm asking for? Consider it a bonus for all the time I spent raising you.
Hey, Vanessa, are you there? I was just wondering about how the job hunt was going. The thing is, I would really appreciate it if you could help send some money home to Mom.
Hold on a second. You mean I'm going to have to start sending my money to Mom too? I'm sorry, but I just don't think that's going to work for me at all. Besides, I still haven't managed to find a job, so...
You mean you still haven't even gotten a job offer? Have you been applying, even? You graduated from college over 3 years ago now. The least you could do is find a part-time job or something. After all, you've been living with Mom this whole time. When are you finally going to find a place to work?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. I don't really feel like going out and finding a job. I would only even begin to consider taking a position where I'm making at least $3,000 a month. Not only that, but I'm going to need a lot of vacation time on top of that.
Vanessa, I really don't think that you're going to find any job that's going to give you everything you want for an entry-level position. You have to be a little more realistic and be willing to work for those perks. Please, I really can't afford to send Mom any more money. The least you could do is try and contribute a little bit since you're living with her. It would really help me out.
And just why is it my problem if you're not working hard enough to be able to afford to help Mom out? Besides, if you must know, I'm out trying to find a rich man to marry, so don't say I'm not doing my part. Once I find a guy who is loaded, I'll make him fall in love with me, and then I'll take care of Mom by myself.
Are you kidding me? Is that really your plan to help our mom?
Of course, I realized that only suckers go out and find jobs for a living. I'm just going to live off my husband's salary instead. So that's why I'm going out every night trying to put myself out there and find the perfect man.
Actually, I remember you telling me about doing this a while ago, so that means that you haven't made any progress on that front either. Are you seriously just wasting all your time waiting for Mr. Right to come fall into your lap so you won't have to work? Is that really all you want to do with your life?
You know, I actually did find someone special once, but we ended up breaking up. He was way too stingy for my liking. He had the gall to tell me no when I demanded he keep buying me gifts. So obviously, he wasn't nearly as rich as he let himself on to be, and that's why I'm still out looking.
I don't believe what I'm hearing. How can you seriously say that that's your life plan?
I'll have you know that I've been gifted bags and clothes worth thousands of dollars by potential suitors. In fact, the last present my boyfriend gave me was a $1,000 necklace. And that was actually the cheapest of the things that he had bought me. It's not easy trying to work out here.
Well, if all you're really doing is seeing this man to get them to buy you things, then it doesn't even sound like you're going to get married. And that means that I'm still going to be the only one sending money to Mom for a long time.
Don't be ready to give up so quickly. You should know that I've actually found a guy who I feel really good about and who's super rich. So I think you might not actually have to even wait that much longer before I'm married.
Oh yeah? You mean you found someone who you think will actually get married to?
That's right. But if this is going to work, you need to send Mom and I a bit more money this month. After all, putting in the work to keep a rich guy's attention isn't cheap, you know. I know that Mom is already asking for another $500. But I think if you add an extra $1,000 on top of that for me, then we should be fine.
Oh, come on. You can't be serious about that, right? You know that I can't even begin to afford sending you that much. I'm already at my limit sending Mum $1,000 every month. That's why I came to you to ask for help in the first place. But you two just keep treating me as if I'm some kind of infinite ATM.
Oh, trust me, neither of us think of you that way. You're way too cheap for that. And if you're going to take that tone with me, then things aren't going to go well for you. Maybe I'd just choose to continue not helping even after I'm actually married. What do you think of that? Liliana, are you there? Your sister is engaged. She's going to be getting married. Not only that, but her fiancé is really rich and runs his own company. Isn't that amazing? She has struck gold.
You mean that Vanessa has actually found a rich man willing to marry her? Are you serious?
Why are you sounding so surprised? It's obvious that a cute girl like her would be able to find a man like that with no problem. After all, she went to college, comes from a good family, and she's a looker. She's an all-around catch. Now I can finally be free and stop having to rely on your stinginess just to get by.
You mean that Vanessa agreed that she would start giving you money every month too?
Well, Vanessa isn't going to be doing so, but her husband certainly is, and he's going to be giving me $3,000 a month, too. Oh, I'm so happy that my daughter finally found a rich man to marry. All my dreams are coming true.
Wow, he's seriously going to give you that much money every single month?
That's right, and it's all thanks to the hard work your sister put in looking for a man, and she may have told a couple white lies about me to ease the process.
White lies? What do you mean? What kind of lies did she tell you about?
Oh, she just told her husband that your father was a horrible gambling addict who left us with tons of debt that I couldn't pay. And about how I had to raise you two all on my own, and how you moved out of the house and hardly ever help us at all despite us begging you to. Apparently your sister was convincing enough to want to make her husband step up and take care of his new mother-in-law. And that's when he offered to send me as much money as I would need to live comfortably.
Now hold on just a second there. You told this guy that your late husband, my dad, was nothing but a gambling addict?
I mean, all I did was stretch the truth a little bit. After all, your dad did used to buy lottery tickets now and then.
So then you besmirched the memory of your own late husband just to make some money? Not only that, but you even lied to your new son-in-law just to exploit him.
Oh, I know, isn't it perfect? And now I'm going to get all the money I could ever want in the world.
Mom, I can't believe you would do something like this.
Oh, please, you certainly aren't in a position to start making complaints to me. You had your chance to take care of me, and you failed. Maybe if you had done your job better, then I wouldn't have been forced into a position where I had to lie.
So you're really going to try and pin all of this on me? I don't know what to say. I've worked so hard to support for the past 7 years, and you act like it's nothing.
Oh, please, you were only sending me $1,000 a month. Don't act like you were so special. But now I don't need your money anymore. I found a new source of income, and I'm never going to let him go. So anyways, now that I have no need for you, don't bother talking to me anymore.
Wait, what? You mean you don't even want to talk to me?
Of course not. Oh, and by the way, you should know that your sister's wedding is today. Not that there's a seat for you here anyway. You can just sit at home doing nothing but thinking about how you failed me.
Wait, what? Vanessa's going to be getting married today? But, I mean, why is this the first time that I'm hearing about this? Why wouldn't she tell me? Does she really not care whether I'm there or not?
Of course not. Her husband thinks that you're a selfish woman who abandoned your family. If he found out the truth, then it would ruin our plan for him to pay me what I need. So you just be a good girl and keep out of this.
So you not only ruined the reputation of my dad, but you also lied about me just for money.
That's right, and we're not going to tell him any more information about you. He knows what he needs to, and that's enough. If he found out any more about you, then it might ruin my image as a poor old woman abandoned by everyone but her one loyal daughter. That's the narrative that we've come up with, and we're not going to let you come here and ruin it.
But it's a lie! You're just lying to this man to steal from him.
Oh, please, it's just another stretching of the truth is all. Besides, it's quite fun acting like someone who you're really not.
So after all this time and effort I put into taking care of you and Vanessa for the past 7 years, this is how you thank me? I can't believe that I really matter so little to you that I'm just being sold out like this. And now I'm not even invited to my own sister's wedding because I'm supposed to be this big villain?
Well, it's not like you even have clothes ready to go to a wedding, right? Besides, I know that you hardly have any money, so it's not like you could go out and get some.
And whose fault do you think it is that I haven't been able to save up any money for myself? It's your fault. It's because I've been paying for you for the past 7 years of my life.
And you've done such a brilliant job doing what you could for me, but the fact of the matter is that it was never enough, and now I don't need you anymore.
Well, fine then, I won't go to Vanessa's wedding. I can see I'm not wanted there anyway.
Yes, that's what I've been telling you from the very start. Nobody wants or needs you around anymore. In fact, you're better off never talking to your sister or I again. You'd just be dead weight and a liability at this point.
Fine, if that's the way you want things to happen, then I'll do as you say. You won't ever see me again. In fact, don't even think of me as your daughter anymore, got it?
Oh, I'll gladly do that. It works so much better for my new tragic backstory. Anyways, I'm off to enjoy what is sure to be a spectacular wedding. Have a nice life.
Oh, trust me, you're not the only one looking forward to this. But I'm not so sure that the wedding is going to go as planned. You'll find out what I mean soon enough, though.
What in the world are you talking about?
Oh, it's nothing you need to know about for now, but you should know that I'm going to send Vanessa a little wedding present. And hope for the happiness of the newlyweds.
Liliana, what did you do? Where is your sister? Why isn't she here yet? I've tried calling and texting her and she isn't picking up. Do you have any idea at all where she could be?
Oh no, the bride has gone missing on her big day. I wonder what could have happened.
I'm serious. She is supposed to be getting married today. The fiancé is panicking and the whole wedding is falling apart. What did you do? I know that you had something to do with this. Oh, I'll have to go to the police and report your sister missing now.
Calm down, Mom. I really don't think there's any need to go that far. We just have something to talk about, and then I'll let Vanessa go. She'll make it to her wedding, though, don't worry.
Talk about something? What do you mean? I knew that you had something to do with this. You tell me where your sister is and what you've done to her right now.
Oh, I don't know where she is right now, but I know who she's with. I believe it's an old boyfriend of hers, actually.
You mean to tell me that your sister is with an ex-boyfriend on the day of her wedding?
That's right, and by the time we're done talking, she should be on her way. But Vanessa's actually there with this man to apologize to him.
Okay, now I really have no idea what you're talking about. You mean to tell me that she is missing her own wedding to apologize to some old ex-boyfriend of hers?
That's right, she's apologizing for betraying him over and over again. Honestly, even I feel bad for him. Sounds like Vanessa managed to squeeze tens of thousands of dollars out of him while cheating on him. It really is quite a sad situation if you ask me.
Hold on a second. You mean that your sister was having an affair with one of her exes?
That's right, I actually got a message from someone saying that he was an ex of hers, and he told me the whole thing. He told me they actually had already been engaged to be married, apparently. But that when the conversation turned to actually planning the event, she would always change the subject. In the end, Vanessa dumped the guy because he wouldn't stop talking about getting married. After that, Vanessa stopped talking to him completely, and it became clear to him that she was only after his money.
But I had no idea about any of this at all.
Anyways, he reached out to me to try and talk to her. All I did was give him Vanessa's new number. I think that he knew that she was going to be married, although he told me that he didn't blame her if she'd really wanted to get married to another man. He just wanted closure with her, and that's why you have nothing to worry about in terms of Vanessa making it to her wedding on time.
And you're telling me that that's why the bride isn't at her own wedding right now?
I think he just wants to be paid back what he's owed from his fake relationship.
And you really have no idea where your sister is at all right now? You need to tell me if you do so I can go and get her.
I really don't have a clue where she could be, Mom, but I'm sure she'll be back soon enough.
Sis, are you there? You have to help me, please. I need you to give me some money. I'm with an ex here, and he says that he's not going to let me go out until I've paid him back. But if I can't go out now, then I'm going to miss my wedding.
And just what do you think I can do about any of this, huh? Maybe you should ask your fiancé for money. After all, he was nice enough to offer Mom $3,000 a month, right?
Are you crazy? I can't go and talk to my fiancé about this. My ex is asking for $100,000.
You mean you scammed a man out of that much money?
I didn't scam anything. They were gifts for me. But now he's saying I have to pay them back since it was only under the assumption we were going to be getting married. He's accusing me of fraud. Can you believe it? Not only that, but he knows that I was seeing someone behind his back. If my fiancé finds out that he was the other man for a while, then it might blow up my marriage. So please, I really need your help right now.
No, it sounds to me like you need to get out of this mess yourself. Leave me out of it.
You can't do this to me. I really need your help, please. Once I'm married, I can pay you back for everything. I just really need some money right now.
I'm sorry, but you've been getting money from me for the past 7 years. You and Mom have sucked me dry, and I don't feel like helping out either of you right now.
You've got to be kidding me.
I'm really not. If you took all this money from this man under a false premise, then you should pay it back. No matter what happens, it really isn't my business. If your wedding falls apart, then that's on you. Anyways, good luck and have a nice life. In the end, Vanessa and my mom tried going to relatives and trying to borrow money, but nobody wanted to help them. Instead, they all wanted to know why I had been unceremoniously kicked out of the family by them. The rest of the family were very upset and said that they were going to stop talking to my mom and Vanessa instead. With no other way to get Vanessa out of her pickle, her marriage fell apart and her fiancé canceled their engagement when she didn't show up to the wedding. I hear that Vanessa and my mom have since had to find jobs. Of course, with no real experience, they can only find very low-paying part-time work. They even had to sell their house and moved into a tiny apartment together, where they barely scrape enough money together to make ends meet. All of that being made more difficult by the debt Vanessa owes to her ex-boyfriend who forced her to sign a contract guaranteeing repayment of her debt.